Howdy, folks. You're listening to Demon Dayz, an actual play podcast with a focus on fiends and the friends who play them. We're back after a little bit of a break, and we've got a bunch of new episodes for your enjoyment, so we can't wait for you to listen to those. Wanted to give a quick shout out to KiloWhat, who does the artwork for our show. Amazing as always. Go check out her stuff. All the important links will be in the show description. And then I also wanted to point out that we have a Discord where all of us hang out, have a great time talking about all things nerdy, all things tabletop. There's something there for everyone, so come hang out with us. We can't wait to see you there. Let's get on with the show, shall we?
Friends, fiends! I would have arrived sooner, but Juggy Jug and the Fun Bunch and I were having some quality time to ourselves. Don't get between a frog boy and his jug, am I right? Anyway, now that I'm here, let's get our story on. When last we spoke, Fetter's Aunt Tiamek came to call with assignments and questions galore, and Fetter had some of his own. We pick our story up right after the big Q&A session as the party decides to give their infernal guest a bit of a tour. All that and more in these Demon Dayz.
So, Fetter, you and Tiamek, you do leave arm in arm, polite, and everyone else isn't as far away as you would expect. Everyone's still congregating around, trying to figure out what's happening, curious as ever.
They walk out and see me sharing noodles.
Just eating them noodles?
Caught mid-bite.
Yeah. How are those noodles?
Oh, you're done.
Yes. I see you and Jojen have become friends.
To a point.
So, I mean, this is kind of the business end of the castle, really. I mean, we got the library here, and obviously you guys came in through the teleportation room. Back that way is mess hall and things. We'll probably sup there in a bit.
Okay.
We can head into the main courtyard here, and we can see from the tapestries and the statues, this seems to get redressed and repurposed fairly often. So, see some vestiges of the last habitants and their decorating style.
Indeed. It looks very storied.
Yeah.
That's a word for it.
A lot of history. I imagine if you were looking for some place to concentrate a lot of power, a thing with a concentration of history is probably your best bet.
Yeah, but also, this place seems so remote. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't quite understand why it's so important outside of the history. Along some arcane ley line or dimensional space, the best I can tell, we haven't encountered anything like that, but we do know that several prominent elder dragons and storied beings have called this place their home.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. But, I mean, we're used to concentrated City of Iron.
Well, yes, certainly. But, you know, the way of the City of Iron is any scrap of available land can be beneficial depending on what you build on it. And here, we pass through nothingness and nothing for days and days and days until we found our way here. Now it's just here. You know?
Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to construct something uninterrupted from adventuring minds, you'd want to go remote.
Sure.
To get the weak adventuring folk out of the way, distracted. Because something that's far away and distant is harder to focus on with the machinations of city life.
Yeah, I suppose.
I just roll my eyes and go, ugh, cut the crap. What is your interest in it? You want it just as much as anybody else. So, clearly it's not a weird thing.
Access. Easy access.
To?
Unchallenged access to this plane. And places like Trust or Skypoint, places under the Dominion control or anywhere else that has a rigid empire is harder to get into as an infernal family. This is remote, and we are in free territories. Unless my information about the South here is wrong. But no one would give a shit that we're here. This is a fairly open land. Outside of the mountain, that is.
So I think you just answered your own question.
We don't have to keep talking about business, but I would like access to this place. I know I've broached it with you.
That's been noted.
And with Fetter as well.
Yeah.
And I understand that this is a big ask.
Sure. I mean, you know my thoughts on it, and I think they're the same as my compatriots. Is like, this seems to be a perplexing mix of remote and contested. So I myself, and again, I am no practitioner of the arcane, and I've said as much repeatedly, but I don't quite see the big deal, at least at the cost. Because anyone that's here for any amount of time, someone else is going to come and try to take it, you know? So if it's the family's business, then so be it, and I'll shrug my shoulders and do what I do whenever the arcane becomes the topic of conversation, and trust that whoever needs to know what they're talking about knows what they're talking about.
It's not like Augur would be coming for a visit.
Yeah, I can't see. Yeah.
Restless as he is, he wouldn't trifle with under mountains and things like that. But it is beneficial to bring more of our agents in and to disperse them into the world.
Sure, but
at various points. But again, it is an ask, and
right. So I think to the most interesting matter at hand, if you'll join me in the courtyard here. You know, Fetter opens up the doors to the chapel.
I quite literally usher her, being like, no, keep going. This courtyard that way.
No, pardon the mess. We're trying to clean up. This place was infested until quite recently by a giant corpse flower that we had to dispatch of.
Fun.
Yeah. But as you'll see, and walk into the halls here, and like, all of these fellows were cast about various points in the castle, and all of them seem to be caught in a moment, in a flash, in an instant, and left in the state you see them now. I mean, we've brought them all here for easy study, but and also because no one wants to take a bath with a weird statue that might come to life at any moment.
I see. Yeah.
But they were literally at the four corners of the place. So we've tried to figure out what we can, but other than confirming their current state, it's hard to say. Careful around that one. And I point at the lid, the mind flare, and I'm like, there's still some psychic resonance rumbling around in there. So
she looks over the illithid and kind of goes eye level with it. Right. Yes, I sense it.
I lean against the altar and go, he's aware in there, to a point.
I can only imagine that they're all, in some way, aware, even if it's just nothingness. But one can hope that time is just fleeting in there.
I'm sure the other ones just see it as kind of how we see sleep, blinking our eyes and
waking back up.
But that one, and I nod to the illithid, knows that he's stuck.
Yeah.
Particularly cruel. She has some satisfaction at that, especially toward the illithid. Yeah.
And he was caught mid-experiment, so...
Indeed. He was experimenting on...
a basilisk.
Huh.
But, again, that's unlike any other, and we've circumnavigated some basilisks on the way here, so they're obviously native to the area, but it's unlike any effect I've ever seen a basilisk possess.
Yeah, I mean, only an illithid would come up with something like experimenting with that sort of thing, and it looks like the hubris caught up with them. But for these others, she seems less interested the further away from him you get. Like, I mean, the Cania one, like, they all don't... There's nothing that looks like it connects them other than this. This is such a weird, disparate... She goes over to the elfin type.
Mm-hmm.
Looks around like, this one has a mask. Oh. Maybe Shadowfell? Huh. Moves over to the barbarian, like, pretty straightforward, this one. Are you wishing us to do something about these? Or
No,
suss out anything about it, or what?
I just, I value your level of knowledge and expertise on all things, and this is one thing in particular that has stumped us a bit. So I'm just looking for your professional opinion and curiosity.
Well, just looking it over, I think the one with the most information is going to be that Illithid. It's going to be the most arcane of them, and probably worth the most in terms of information, skill, and ability. The others, she kind of shrugs. Maybe the Blackguard from Cania, but I don't know. If it's the arcane you want more of, those Illithid get into some pretty deep stuff. And now it makes sense why there would even be a Githyanki around in the material plane if there's still remnants of these here. It just seems to work out that way, like two balanced weights.
Interesting.
Even if they're not at war with each other or trying to fight or suss out their differences, there always seems to be equal measure of them around.
Yeah. What do you think, Dandles?
Seems interesting. He doesn't know anything about this.
That is very specific. And I look at him, I'm like, whatever this is, it's very specific. And then I'm like, Yewsiff, you want to take it from here?
Sure.
This is, next part of the house is kind of your purview.
That's true. So
you've got this area. This is a chapel, cathedral-esque thing in an open field. What a strange hold this is, she says, as she steps out.
it's got a lovely fountain. I haven't gotten it working yet, but that's next on the list.
Indeed.
Is Sunny standing there?
No, I think she's resting, but I just never moved the token.
Oh boy, the jealousy and disappointment that
so
might
jealous.
happen with
I'm
her.
so disappointed.
She starts to follow Yewsiff. Are you two staying behind Fetter and Taslinn? Or are you joining them as they start to walk towards the forge area? Because Tiamek right now is just like generally along for this tour, this ride of this tour. Generally curious.
I mean, I probably would have been listening just a little bit when they were chatting in the room together, and picked up on some banter, so knowing where that went.
Okay. She wasn't attempting to hide.
Oh yeah. I'd probably grab Fetter's arm just a little bit to kind of hold him back.
Okay.
Oh no, I would have fallen back once I kind of set Yewsiff up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have kind of fallen back with you a little bit, and yeah.
So they've started to make their way, and you pull Fetter back, and there's a moment where this is your moment as they start to move toward the forge.
So, what happened?
It's frankly kind of disappointing. You mean with the Tower of All and all of that, or?
Well, I mean, with talking with her and all that, I get the disappointing.
Yeah, I was really hoping for answers, and it seems like we're maybe a little bit more of use to them than they are to us right now. What's this about forging a last? See, I knew it. I knew that they wanted access to the tower, but what is it? Just as a teleportation hub? Is that what she's trying to?
There's more to it. The fact that it's more than just wanting easy access to the plane.
Yeah, there's something again. No one will come forward about what.
So we'll walk this way, I think, and I'll show you the interior of this area. As they're talking and I'm pulling her out of
earshot. Okay.
Earshot.
Yeah.
And line of
We
sight.
figured you guys were already gone out of earshot. Yeah, because Fiernia wants Fallhold. Your aunt wants Fallhold.
Why does everyone want Fallhold?
Everyone wants Fallhold.
I mean, it's got a nice grotto that we filthied with our essences, but I mean, and there's a big bag of treasure that I can get out of the basement, but it's not that much. I've seen treasure.
Not much more.
It's an okay amount of treasure. It's not a swimmable amount of treasure. It's a fine amount of treasure, but it seems symbolic. but
Maybe?
also everybody fucks it up. Like, no one can actually hold on to the place. I don't
Whether
know.
externally or internally, by gesture to the illithid. I mean, there's... But that makes me want to hold on to it more. Like,
Yeah, but
she tried to bargain with me for access to this place,
Yeah,
and I'm...
The funny thing is that part of the trick, though? Is that part of the trick that this place plays on people? Is that all of a sudden everybody wants it, but what the fuck is it? It's a half decent castle at the bottom of a mountain. Like, I just don't understand. And yeah,
Like the piece of glass being sold for a diamond.
yeah, exactly. So offered you what else did you try to offer out of you?
Well, she didn't tell me anything that I didn't, or outright tell me anything that I didn't already know.
Right.
Which again is disappointing, just like you have said. She wants to get Little Thing away from Fee.
That's fair.
Very clearly wants to get her away from Fee.
Sure, but then what do we do with him after that? Is that
Well-
on us to determine, or did she have some sort of goal in mind?
Their goal is to use him as a tool, bargaining chip, something, because Fernia obviously wants him. The whole line to Belial, and
Sure, but again, that's... I mean, it's,
Fernia has been in talks with...
yeah, she said that there were some folks that were coming around meeting with
frequently.
Augur. But again, there's this whole Dissipator angle that I don't quite understand, but I don't know. I mean, the end result of the tower, we almost already knew. But the one bit of information that was new to me was that initially Yarvel had started tinkering on her own in an attempt to overthrow Dissipator. I don't know if that was for someone or for herself or who she meant to put in power once he was displaced, but once we were found out, all of her research and work was then conformed to the will of Dissipator, who then forced her to turn on the tower with her own daughters as test subjects. But I think we had seen in person most of that.
We pieced most of that together.
We pieced a lot of that together. I mean, I think that the only thing that was kind of interesting to me was that Yarvel's allegiances were initially towards someone else's and then bent to the will of Dissipator. But again, it seems like that will is faltering. So, interesting. Just interesting. But, everything else okay? You okay?
I mean, I'm relatively fine, although my biggest thing is the more she wants this place, the more I want to keep it.
Yeah. The only thing that I would reckon is if we know that we theoretically can restrict access when we want. I just don't want it to be a sticking point that causes an adverse conflict when it's not something that we have any great,
True.
like why cause it? Choose your battles and all.
I get that.
Again, and
For as brainy as she is, though, I don't think she's as smart as she thinks she is.
she's intelligent more than she is clever.
Yeah, because she was trying to offer me arcane knowledge for access of this place, and that's just not... I can get it myself.
It's true, but
There were better angles.
quick and easy.
True.
Does seem like we're headed back to Trost at some point.
At some point.
Gonna have to figure out an interesting way to wiggle those last couple sigils out of you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And also, like, I know she's kind of bookish, but she completely wants to fuck Yewsiff. I don't know.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know how Noodle Boy is going to play into that.
Did you notice that he went in there after taking it, like, sucking down an oyster?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was
He was getting...
he was setting himself up.
He's working it up.
Mm-hmm.
We got to forget
That was the last one on the plate.
he's a zesty boy. He's a zesty boy. We got to remember he's got that.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't talk much about Kenya, but
I haven't quite nailed down his interests. I
Yeah.
keep trying to push him towards certain things,
I
and
think
he's not in.
no,
yeah.
but I think that as someone who, until very recently, was very much this way, I think it's there's a bit of carnal release, sure, but I think by and large, it's kind of in personal capital. It's a thing to be given and taken and enjoyed in the moment, but not necessarily sought after without a greater purpose. If that makes sense.
I suppose.
Why not?
He also, I'm getting the sense that he really enjoys people that do align similarly with him. So
Sure.
he's very color in the lines, and your aunt is very color in the lines.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a really pretty coloring book. I'm just going to hear that forge ring out into the night. Wonder what sort of... Anyway, yeah. Let's not be missed.
I think it might be best if we went to another part of the castle or the keep or whatever we want to call this. Maybe.
Oh, sure. Why not?
I know what they say about hooves and size.
Sure.
So, but I don't know if your aunt is a noisemaker.
I think it's like quiet but intense. It's far enough up the tower that I mean, it's impossible to hear anything over. I mean, well, mind you, they're own separate demi-planes theoretically, but yeah, I think she has a very refined taste, but
It's not like a Motel 8 demi-plane separation. You can actually hear all the fucking...
hear all the. But I think that, I mean, whatever's going on with fucking Noodles, like it's very refined and very specific. But I think when she knows what she wants, she knows she's going to enjoy it. So, well,
And I mean, if Yewsiff's hooves are any indication, I'm sure he's turned some people into screamers.
sure,
Whether that'll be your aunt,
Robust.
I don't know. But let's
robust. Anyway, all right, well, sure. If he kills her, I'll kill him. So, other than that, they should enjoy themselves. I'm really curious how does the Noodle Boy fit into it, though?
yeah.
We'll have to ask him later. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they don't blindfold him. Figure it all out later.
She did call him a toy, so should we go do our own investigation? Maybe try out different ways that we think Noodle Boy is going to fit
Works
in.
into it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just
No.
maybe a little prudish of me, but it feels weird with like family in the house.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe when everyone's asleep.
Actually, I don't get that, but I'll respect it.
no, I appreciate the effort.
Yeah. And meanwhile...
Well, by this time, we have moved past the barracks, past the training room, shown her the bath area.
This is my forge.
Is newly cleaned. And
The
pretty
newly
if they
cleaned-
need it.
Here's my hot iron.
Oh, smelty.
You punchlined me. Thanks a lot. You punchlined me.
Yeah, so... Yes, it is a cleaned and very nice bath. I see. You've shown me the bath area.
Yeah, it's just a trivial thing, but it's a main. And he starts walking down the stairs to come back around the main hall. He's like, but it's just a thing you don't think of when you have to uphold a household.
Yeah.
Especially with only so much help that can be done. It's down to here. I was like,
Oh my goodness, the foreplay between these two is a world in its own.
shh, you're not there. Shut up. Opens the forge. Like,
Oh, I see.
this has been where I've been spending most of my time lately.
So is this your room where the book is?
No, that's actually that's up the stairs outside. But there is just there's something about burning iron that I've always enjoyed.
Interestingly, insight check from Jojen. Fuck.
I mean, he probably picked it up. It's not that.
12.
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
I mean, were you trying to contest anything?
No.
No, he just like, what is his angle? Jojen's like, what's going on? He's not privy to what's the interplay necessarily, so he's trying to suss some things out. But now he's good. I see. Well, this seems like a place where a lot of action happens.
Not yet, but it will be. I'm learning blacksmithing right now. It's not my forte. I'm actually my medium is with glass.
She's intrigued. Glass. What a strange thing to be into.
It's actually quite beautiful. The things you can make with it, the process, the end result.
Well, should make something for me.
Oh. I actually collected some sand from the beach outside.
She motions to Jojen for the door, and he shuts it. Like, so, is this book fictional, or you got something to really show me?
Well, you wanted to see the book. Okay. Well, hang on one second. I'll go get it, unless you care to accompany me to my bedroom. That's actually where it is.
She sighs. Lead away. You sense that she's like, okay, get on with it. And Jojen opens the door like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit about your glass. But she wants something else.
It's because I haven't made anything for her yet.
Should have led with glass.
Walk upstairs, go in the bedroom that is completely destroyed.
Actually, no. The furniture would have been emptied out by Judson.
Only the broken stuff.
So
And I would have mended
like
what I could.
I didn't understand it. So I assumed it was different piles in each place. There was the big pile, and then the room didn't quite bring it down the stairs yet. But if we did, then it's empty.
Oh, yeah. If it was, if you were mending stuff, then yeah, maybe I might actually have some furniture in here.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, he would walk over to a very small bookshelf that has only a few books on it. And he would pull one out, and he would walk over to her and this is entitled The Trials and Tribulations of the Paladin Fetter. Deep Lord cut, baby.
Amazing.
I thought maybe you might be interested in this. If not, I mean, your sister probably will be, from what you told me.
Her eyebrows raise.
It's a book of poetry and lyrics. And
I am aware of the book.
oh, I see.
Shuts the door.
Is Noodle Boy inside?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, God. That's all. And just you heard just like a long slurp through the...
She didn't ask him to leave, so no, he's in there.
So, like, is the bowl that Noodle Boy has of, like, infinitely replenishing bowl? Because
It's the bowl of ultimate noodles. No, it's done. It's done.
I feel like the noodles would have run out long ago.
You know those when you get towards the bottom and you can't quite get it with the implement, so there's still a little
sure.
bit. That's about where it is. It's about done. There's enough time has passed to where there's not much more noodle in the bowl, but it's a thing for his hands to do when he has no idea what's going on. But now he doesn't need to hold on to that bowl anymore. With the door shut, it's shut pretty firmly, and you can hear it echo a bit. The door, that is, from where you're standing, and that's where that is. Leaving you two to the remainder of the afternoon/evening.
Well, I was going to make a big dinner. We should probably...
Go ahead.
They might need it.
They'll be hungry.
Yeah, they might need it.
Sure, but I mean, it's like a formal, like, Lots up!
He's so over. Okay.
Just Flotsam. Just...
Yes, and he's right there, even though the marker's not.
So let's change out, like, I don't know how many courses you're into the dinner, but, like...
Dinner?
The dinner... Man, we planned the dinner. Anyway, so, okay. Let's change it up. Let's change the menu up, right? I know we had, like, that nice, like, 6-course prefix figured out, but, like, let's maybe do something that we can, like, keep on the pot and, like, let it cook.
Like a rump roast or something?
Yeah, like a Yankee pot, or like a pot roast, or a...
Like a noodle dish?
Jesus.
No noodles. No
noodles.
Flotsam, no noodles.
Noted.
Like a shepherd's pie, something something we can kind of keep warm at a low heat, and people can come and kind of get as they need it, you know? But like something nice, but spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
Not a bowl of cereal.
And he heads off
Yeah.
to try and scrounge something together and figure out how to cook it.
We brought all that shit back from the... I almost said pirate boat. I was like, we brought all the supplies back from the boat.
Roger. And he goes to work on the
Sonny!
Takes a bit. Yes.
Follow
what's up?
Flotsam and make sure he makes something edible, please.
You making him cook?
Why don't you just cook?
Yeah. I can totally do that.
A hearty stew, a shepherd's pie, something that people can kind of come and get as they want.
And she goes, all right, I'll help him out. And they go, leaving you once again with Taslinn.
Okay, so 21 insight. How much into pain is she as opposed to causing distress?
21 insight?
Yeah.
21 insight.
You know those buttoned up ones.
Yep.
If this were to be a BDSM quiz, where is masochist and sadist? Like, what percent is she?
I cannot tell whether Yewsiff, like, where on the spectrum of that he falls either. I feel like he could be...
I feel like he's like a service switch, right? Maybe.
I feel like there are times where he could totally be a masochist, and then there are times where he can be a sadist.
Yeah, well, I feel like he's definitely guys like he definitely enjoys a certain amount of pain, but I mean,
He 100% is a soft top. That's for sure.
sure, definitely. Definitely, there's the nurturing, the laying on of hands, and all of that.
Yeah, and then the second the door closes, it's like whips.
Yeah, it's all just
You haven't had any objections yet, but she is a bit hard to read. She rolled pretty high.
Okay.
So there's been no objection.
Well, if she's into the spanking, he pulls out the sword
Yes.
and just gently rests it against her ass so that it singes a bit because it's a holy weapon.
You get a surprise. Oh, fuck. And
It will heal, but you will not forget me.
Oh God!
Damn!
God damn! We've had some. Okay, so
and for the first time, no one else has seen this. No one else in this place has seen the fangy grin that she gives you.
let's recap. For the last couple episodes, we've had like the Sword of Cast discarded because of all the BO. And now here we are using a holy Avenger as a sex toy.
As an edging toy.
As an edging sex toy. Welcome to Demon Days, folks. Glad you stuck around for 100 episodes.
And this, my friends, is something that we have never seen from Yewsiff. It did not come out when he went with Lisa.
Technically,
no.
Unless you scry, you won't actually see it.
I do not need to scry.
We know what's going on there. We're going to ply him full of mimosas tomorrow at brunch and get all the deets. But like...
The best part about it is she has now been touched by Eldeath.
Whoa!
That's not like putting Jesus in Jesus inside of you?
Yeah, just on the outside right now.
Oh,
Right now.
right now.
Right now.
Oh, is he pump a couple? When people say like I'm going to pump a couple smites into this,
Let's see. Athletics is an 18.
god damn.
That 21 insight.
Oh yeah, he's totally an athletics roll. Well,
Yeah,
performance,
dexterity.
Your dexterity on
Dexterity and your
performance.
performance.
He's athletics. Yep.
Guys, take the Demon Days 100 episode quiz.
Oh yeah, Lisa was acrobatics.
Yeah.
Got it.
What's your D&D sex stat?
Oh, dear God. And that's a 24 Constitution save. So
Operate magical weapon.
yeah,
For the 3-5 folks in
it's
the
a
group.
it's a good showing.
Yewsiff's just gonna outfit his whole bedroom into like a dungeon vibe.
I need some more of your fuckable family members to show up. Because right now, like, we had like a dead gnome. Like, everybody else, you know what I
Dead
mean?
gnome is definitely not fuckable.
Yeah, like,
at least not for
all of
our
my.
side
It's
of
not
things.
my fault that all of my family members are
Jerry
kind of
Lich over here says, really?
just. Of course, everyone's gonna like line up the Zafan family, both sides of
They're
the
tiny.
tree.
They're tight. They're rotten. Dead gnomes.
It's the line of Spanx for each.
Oh my god!
I mean, I'm sure there's something coming down the pipeline with my whole backstory because we've got plenty of leads in Skypoint, and
yeah,
Cheshire has yet to show up.
right now, it's like a crusty old man and a child. You know what I mean? Like somehow you've insulated yourself from this. But my like harem anime of fuckable ants is just available to everyone.
There is
You reap what
definitely
you sow. That's all I got for you.
that edge of like how close are Taslinn and Fee gonna get? At what point is that tipping over into territory that should not be?
Like, I mean, the thing is like
Look, you said no death in the family, so we're going to fucking.
Yeah, we're going the other way. We're going the other way.
We're bringing a lot of life into it.
Oh God, Jesus Christ. But no, like I get it, but yeah, I think that like I just can't. The fee thing, like Fetter's resigned himself that it might happen, but it just got to happen like over there.
Yeah, if it does happen, we never speak of it.
Oh God.
Let's see, and I think
Meanwhile, back in the vault.
As he continues to lay more and more on top.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've got 50 points of lay on hands pool, so I think between the smacks, the rubbing, I'm going to drop some positive energy.
Some good aftercare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some good aftercare.
When you put a whole different level to cupping the pussy.
But
So
what
dinner?
what I really want to know is Yewsiff as a glass blower, like has he mastered the flanged end? You know what I mean?
Like I said, I haven't made anything for her yet.
Oh my God.
You certainly
But
made
have
her.
you significantly blown her?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
That's how you start.
Obviously.
The noodle boy just sitting in the corner taking notes. Oh God.
Scribe? Detailed.
What did I invite?
What did you eat? Well, I'll tell you.
What did I invite to
Yes.
this house?
So she nods and says, "Yes, let's eat food." And pretty quickly puts most of her clothes back. It's a little disheveled, and she doesn't really seem to care that much.
Well, you said you know of this book. Have you read it, or?
You're telling me you didn't read it to her
I
in
was
the
busy.
process of all of that? Like,
I
as
probably
you were,
recited a poem or two.
Yes, as you were between each slap of the ass, you did not drop a line? Come on.
No.
Look,
just
I read it a
hokey.
while
Look,
ago.
let the man. He knows where the line is, and he's gonna ride it. He's gonna just toe that line. He's gonna take it right to the edge.
Well, if you care to borrow it, you may. I would like it back, though. I enjoy it quite often.
Round 2. Fight.
She. We lost Drew.
You both said fight at the exact same time.
Yeah, we're good at this. Hi, Drew. Welcome to the podcast.
That's great.
Frequently same brainwaves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Everything a DM could ask for.
Oh God.
And she takes it. She's like, oh, I'll do that. I'll be sure to return it the next time the mood to read strikes, she says, and adjusts and starts to walk out the door.
Strike having a multiple meaning.
Jojen follows, adjusting his clothes a little bit.
God, the noodle boy.
It wasn't very noodly then.
And yeah, they start to head over to where it was established the food place was.
Yeah.
And you guys
I
get
think
there.
we're in there. I'm like, so we got some like the shepherd's pie. There's a nice charcuterie plate we've laid out. Got a nice kind of a sparkling lime beverage. Some crisp cucumber waters.
And you do notice that both Tiamek and Jojen are still fairly disheveled. Their clothes are on, but they haven't given much of a care to restoring to the prim and properness.
I hope that you found the rest of the tour satisfactory. And
She smiles. I did.
sorry, we had a much fancier dinner planned, but I figured you would eat when you were good and ready.
We didn't want anything to get cold.
No.
Yewsiff walks in, hair not in a ponytail, but a braid on either side.
Oh yeah, hair down, Yewsiff.
As they walk in, he pulls out a chair for her.
Oh, well, thank you. And she sits down. Actually, Jojen finds one further behind towards the west
Weird.
of the table.
Noodle boy's so weird.
I clock that and quirk my eyebrow a little bit.
I mean, he's not the weirdest personal assistant that's ever lived in the tower, but I'm just like, ugh, this is like new.
but there's definitely especially being called a toy and then the dynamic. Yeah, there's
I feel
a
like
there's
he's a
kind
little
of
like he's a little like they're like chuckle for us, noodle boy, and he goes
Yeah.
like I
Is
feel
it-
like it's a whole berries and cream
yeah.
thing.
Is it more of like a jester toy?
Yeah,
You have the Ken doll.
yeah. They're like, do your little dance, noodle boy, and I think
Mm-hmm.
She does look back and point out collar and he adjusts it and starts trying to prim and proper himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then she returns her attention to you guys. So,
All right, I get that dynamic a little bit.
Well, that was quite long overdue. Aunt,
yes.
I hope your individual I hope your individual accords were fruitful. And
Big eye roll from me.
yeah.
Biggest eye roll.
And what next? When do you head back to the tower?
Pretty much as soon as this is done. I guess the question remains is, what is your plan forward, and how can we help?
Well, I think the next bit of business is to now wait for agreement, but I feel like I've got quite the to-do list, and all roads lead towards Skypoint. So I say
Indeed.
we maybe take a night's rest and
Indeed.
head off in the morning, depending on if we can garner some assistance from you.
Well, that would be amenable. We can do that. For now, until we solve this issue with our safe house, the only access point is, unfortunately, in the palace with Fee. She will...
Straight to the palace.
Yes. But...
Hold up. Straight to the Neil?
Yes.
Fuck. Okay.
It's not ideal, and you're going to get a little bit of flack from Fee. She doesn't like this, but... she doesn't have a choice. And she smiles.
I'll keep her distracted.
Ah, and there's your angle.
She nods. And returns her attention back to the conversation, but then kind of glances in your direction. Curious. But yeah, we can send you guys there. I just have to let her know. I can let her know right now. And then in the morning, it'll be ready.
Sounds good.
She pulls out a similar journal
Yeah.
to what you have. And...
Don't mention that I'm coming. From what you told me, it might unbalance her. Distraction.
Oh, distraction.
You see.
Or, she looks down, starts writing.
I'll let you know it better. I'll let you use your...
Fetter, you can see this happening as well. First thing you see from Tiamek. Need to send some birdies your way. A moment or two. F. You gotta be fucking kidding me right now. Tiamek smiles. A nephew birdie. She eyes Taslinn. A raven and a pally. Seconds. Is the pally attractive? Tiamek smirks. Not my type. And Fee, not my question. T, he's got hooves. F, on it, give me a day, you know what to do. No spaces. She looks in
Yewsiff's just
Fetter's
sipping his wine.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But Fetter, you saw the conversation. Tiamek just kind of glances over in your direction, shrugs.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Properly, fully enjoying this.
Look, every so often,
Uh-huh.
I get a chance to have some fun.
Sure. Well, I feel like you've gotten a century's worth in the last 24 hours.
Whatever could you be talking about, nephew?
I don't know. These hallowed halls.
Takes another swig. It's that
Jojen, do you know what Fetter's talking about?
movable chaos.
Not a clue, ma'am.
My
And they both just look at Yewsiff and then back at...
He just kind of raises his glass a little bit.
out of control. All right, so...
But anyways, yes,
do you-
that's taken care of.
So, just because I don't, do you have... Could we bother you to perhaps get a hold of some schematics of the castle so we at least note some ingress and egress points?
Sure.
I really don't trust Fee to do anything with any amount of subtlety, and I don't think we necessarily want to get presented to the court the moment we arrive.
No, but
If nothing has changed over the past few years, we already have those.
Yeah, well, okay.
I can't imagine the palace changes much unless Fee did things to change it, but... Well, I guess that could be.
And Fetter kind of smirks knowingly at Taslinn because he knows that there are things that he doesn't know, and he's fine with that, and he's not technically surprised. He's ready to be surprised by some things, but not This one's not one of them.
So her whole like demeanor as you look over
Right.
at is not like it went from being super chill and relaxed and overly confident to complete reservation.
Are you trying to hide that by any chance?
No. The second she went hold up the kneel, like
Okay. Now, I will say, one thing that's been advantageous to our agents that we've sent through her is she has been able to give them access to the kneel unsupervised, unaccosted. She at least does that for us.
what agents have you sent?
Every now and then we'll send agents from our house to do various contracts, more in line with what I've given Fetter here in terms of different jobs, different contracts to sign, different things to do. But we used to have a more clandestine place until it disappeared.
No one necessarily attached to the city.
No,
Okay.
no. We just need access into the place, and
But
she's doing that at least for us.
right. Well, I think that more than likely our goals will be to quickly get out of the castle and try to quickly reclaim this safe house for our own.
Yeah.
Hopefully before we're presented before court. I think that's quick. It's quick and it's messy, and I don't care for it. I'd
Yeah.
rather have time to plot and plan and go about this.
Do specify that to Fee, because once she gets on her tear,
No, I know.
there won't be no word edgewise.
Yes.
She'll also have questions, I'm sure, and
Yes,
want to
but-
interact with you all. And she kind of gives Yewsiff a look, and
Yes, but
Anyone
she's
else?
also easily distracted. So
yes, throw the pally at her and run out the door. Anyways, yes, so we can do that in the morning, and you'll be set.
shall we make for your reasonable accommodation? We have 4 rooms, and occasionally I will cohabitate in one of them. We're happy to double up to make something available to you for the evening. Seems you've made choice to select your amenities appropriately already, so just let me know if there's anything you need of us.
I will let you know. I think we are covered.
As she looks back at Yewsiff.
It's kind of one of those like casual like.
Not her type. Just not her type.
Oh, he hasn't communicated that.
Y'all have completely ruined me because I'm flipping through D&D Beyond because at some point we'll roll some dice, and I just saw cunning action and I did not read it that way.
So it's instead of the 2 N's, it's an M.
You read it the best way.
Yeah, that is not anywhere near my fault.
You're all out of control.
And so yeah, that pretty much, unless you have other things to attend to or conversations to have, that will end the evening and bring you into the next day.
Well, I mean, the second she leaves the room, Taslinn would just be like, I cannot go. No, I can't. Not the kneel.
Yes. Okay, who or what is the kneel?
Is it Neal or Kne?
The Patrick Harris.
EIL?
So, the kneel is
Is it a legend?
No, it's a name. It's a nickname for the elite part of Skypoint, which the center of it is the palace, and it's Kneel, as in you kneel, right?
Got it.
It's also a fuck you because kneeling and shit and an alliteration of the heel.
There's also the element of kneeling and getting a mouthful
Yes.
of the pretentiousness, the power of the dominion in your face.
Yeah, and then also oftentimes the nobles and the whole kneel before us bullshit. It's more prominent in the area that I came from, which was named the Sink. Also nicknamed the sink, really. But that one was more just out there and everywhere. But part of why I left Skypoint was because of a particular attempt to get into the Neil, which is why I have plans of the palace.
Oh, so you meant that literally?
Mm-hmm.
I assumed you did.
Neat.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. It never
I thought
happened.
maybe you already just knew your way around. And that's what you were saying.
No, never was able to breach that.
Okay.
Word got out to very specific people, and shit hit the fan before I was ever able to do that. So, I mean, it's been several years, so who knows, but...
Was this, just to have this straight, was this before or after a dare?
Well after.
Well after.
Well after.
Gotcha. I thought so. I just wanted to be sure.
It's been about 3 years since everything happened, so who knows. But Skypoint often, depending on the people, tends to have a long memory.
I get that. It's fairly similar in Dis.
And teleporting in directly into the Neil, I don't know. Even if I'm fairly fine in the palace, because never made it there. No one ever saw my face, although, kind of stands out.
Directly outside, there could be trouble.
Yes, essentially coming out from the Neil would not totally be looked favored upon.
I mean, how long has it been since you've been there?
3 years.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You do stand out in a crowd and you are hard to forget. But 3 years is a long time. Also, shift change. The odds of someone recognizing you are possibly okay for us?
Again, yes. In the Neil, probably. Most likely. The sink, though?
Yeah. The where's the safe house, John? Is it
The safe house, I didn't say it in there, but generally it's to the south of Skypoint.
Is it in the city?
It's in the city. So within the city walls. Tiamek mentioned it casually, just generalized southern area close to the wall. So
sure?
if you communicate that, you would know that that's on the map I showed you. Just
hold on, I'm looking at it.
that an area is generally considered the southern dispersion, even though it's part of the city. You would refer to it as that, even if it's in the city. The dispersion is supposed to be outside of the city itself, you recall. But yeah, so to your mind, when he dictates where that location is, you get the sense that Zeph and family didn't make it very far into the city.
Okay.
That's generally southern. If anyone tries to breach into the city for any espionage or anything along those lines, they get kind of pooled around the south of the city. They don't get to make it very far. They're not adept enough for the sink, and the crew you were with, and everywhere else is a little bit more entrenched, but the south is a bit shut out. So,
all right. So, here's what I'll say. And Yewsiff, we really didn't get a chance to, compare notes. After not yet. But there's some notes I certainly, if I can infer, that I don't care for. But we can all assume. But and like I think Fetter takes both of Taslinn's hands and like looks her in the eyes and is just like, listen, like, I know this is difficult, but we're here for you. Tell us what you need to tell us. Don't tell us what you need to wait and see how it plays out. Like, you know, this is your backyard and we know there's history there, and like, we're here to help and we're still a team, and whatever we can do. We know it's not going to be easy.
You see all the attitude fall from Yewsiff's face, and he gets very serious. He's like, absolutely. Tell us what you need.
Is this the only way
Fetter waves like 6 things of parchment that he's just like, I mean, I don't know what your to-do list has on it, but like,
And well, is there an?
I've got homework.
Okay, yes. The Raven Queen gave me just as much. Okay, and I understand we have to go. I get it. I've come to terms with that, but is this really the only way in?
I mean,
we could maybe try to flag down Horatio and catch a ride, but
too far. Second best thought, we teleport to Trust, which is weirdly on my list, and then we have to cart, horseback, airship, boat our way back down. But we know from
that's still a long journey.
That's a long journey. Like, I mean, listen, I'm not thrilled at all about heading right into the belly of the beast either. There's a lot that could go wrong, and Fee is, if nothing, an agent of chaos. So, but hey, listen, like, I know things went tits up 3 years ago, and I know that it's weird and it's complicated, but here's the thing that's different. You may have been alone before, but you're not now. You've got this big sex muppet, and you've got me.
What?
And we're going to do this together. And, like, it's going to be different. Because you're different.
Shit. I mean, it probably won't, but shit may go sideways.
That's fine. Tell us just enough that you feel comfortable with, that we know what to do when it does.
Not in the mess hall.
Sure.
Let's go back to my little tower. Yewsiff,
Okay.
you can, sure, if you want to hear this too, you can. Yep. Let's go. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
And as you leave the mess hall, even though the icons are there, Tiamek and Jojen were hanging out around the hallway further away. They weren't really listening.
Right.
They kind of left. They knew she knew to give you space, but she's also just exploring the look of the place, and
Sure.
she's minding her own
Figuring
business.
out how she wants to redesign
Oh,
it.
yeah. Jurgens. That's Noodle Boy's angle. He's her interior designer.
Yeah.
Yes.
What color drapes are we going to put up?
So they are currently occupied, leaving you guys the chance to go off to a different room, whatever. You don't have to engage with her quite at this time. She does not need to be hosted.
Have fun storming the castle. So we get to our little corner. We've got like our nice like furs set up since we don't really have a bed.
Yeah.
As we sit down, I will pull out my tarot deck. I have to pull up my references. Shit. I was not ready for this. Okay. So I will pull out my tarot deck. And I'll say, well, okay. Where should I start? So after a dare, I was free agent, I guess you could say. Teeny tiny. Get to Skypoint. Wee little 18-year-old. Surviving, essentially. Street rat. End up getting on the radar of a friend, and I'll pull out like the Chariot card, which has a picture of a very beautiful girl with freckles and red hair and green eyes. Yeah,
Yeah,
green eyes.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. And we survived together until she decided to join a guild. And I didn't want to. And I did things, stole things, did some odd jobs, bounced around, and happened to find myself stealing from the Carnival Mysterio in the sink. Very drew a lot of people, things like that. But that put me on the radar of a different guild, and the leader of it in particular was, let me just show you. And I pull out another card that is the magician. And it's got a very and you would probably recognize it, Fetter, from when I would scry
Sure.
the couple of times, where it's a drow wearing a shaved head, has kind of like a hat, very fancy hat with lots of fancy feathers, and dressed up kind of in this shock value kind of thing on it. And well, I got his attention, and he's the leader of the guild, and we over years became involved, heavily involved, and in my attempt to give a gift, impress him, whatever you want to do, after years of just kind of honing skills and building my own reputation in the sink. The whole point of this guild was to branch out, to take over, to unseat the other guilds. And
It was a guild of magicians.
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm...
Thank fucking Christ.
No guild of magicians.
I look at Yewsiff and I was like, because if we're doing rabbits in a hats and shit,
They're illusions, Michael.
Illusions. No guild of magicians. That happens to be the card that I associated with him.
Sure.
This deck was a gift from him that I have gradually over the years changed up. It was a guild of drow. Actually, all of them are drow except for me, which worked out to an advantage, I guess. But my whole thing was I had come across in getting information from other people and playing card games and talking and with information holders, exchanges of a sort, no contracts, but exchanges. Found a treasure trove of information that would have opened the city to him. And it happened to be in the palace, in the Neil. And I was laying out plans to get it for him, when somehow word got out that he had already stolen it, even though he hadn't. Needless to say, things went sideways. I set back the guild several years. And I'm sure next time he sees me, he might kill me. We'll see.
Nah. And he shares a look with Yewsiff. This trove of information, are we talking a book? Are we talking a ledger? Are we talking a bunch of papers? A chest? A lexicon?
It was kind of more of a bunch of papers. It was more of something that, the archmage of Skypoint would have access to.
The current archmage of Skypoint?
I mean, if he hasn't changed in 3 years, then yes.
Bonham, the bastard.
Mm-hmm.
You would also know that, you wouldn't necessarily know if there was a change of the guard, so to speak, for archmages. You just know that there's an archmage, he's stuffy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know if he's new or not. Just
I never got his name. I never breached that hill to say. We just always had this general attitude of him. And I'm sure all archmages are in some way stuffy.
Yeah. So, did you figure out who made you?
No.
Who made him?
No.
And you fled?
I just fled. Yep. Because there was, impending doom for the guilds, and who knew what or how Nax would take it out on me.
So, I'm confused.
It was me versus the guild, and he'll always choose the guild.
Yeah.
So the information got out that he had already stolen it, but he hadn't already stolen it.
Oh, no. No, absolutely not.
Did someone else steal it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting.
Sounds like you were a pawn in someone else's game.
Looking back on it, yeah.
You've, obviously with your immense magical capabilities, have spoken to Nax since all of this went down.
I sent him a letter back when we first found out about Little Thing, but that was it. I haven't actually spoken to him.
What does he know of Cheshire and Little Thing? And
Oh, he's very well acquainted with Cheshire. That was a thing.
Did you mention to them what you saw in the vision of the thing he was looking at, kind of on the Carnival Mysterio?
I think
there was a vision a while back.
Yeah. I think the only one that either of them were around for that Fetter would have seen, because I think only Fetter was really able to see when it was the two of them, and it was before he was looking at the cloak. It was when they were together talking about me.
Okay, so then they wouldn't be privy to the cloak situation.
Yeah, no.
So just so you had that for reference.
Yeah. No, he's acquainted with Cheshire. He visited and pulled me, stole from Nax. Stole a rope, actually, which that fucker just had to go for the sparkly things. I mean, it's not really sparkly, but it's definitely like plush, and yeah, that's a nice rope, come to think of it.
so
It is. Yeah, I don't know what it's talking about, but I know what it is.
What's your intuition tell you is the best course with our dear friend Nax here? When you're back in the city, should we seek him out and attempt to make amends, or should we avoid him? I mean, sometimes these things are best faced head on.
Well, he is a showman at heart, really.
Question. So, this thing wasn't stolen, but it was blamed on them that it was stolen.
Yes, absolutely.
But we don't know that it was actually ever stolen.
It may have never moved.
I highly doubt it ever left the room.
So, hypothetically, if we're able to teleport right into the castle, if we stole it and brought it to him, would that put you in his good graces?
Yeah, actually, it would.
So we show up in the castle first thing and try to steal. No recon, no
I mean, I'm sure
planning,
Fee would probably
no
have an idea of where it is.
interest.
And you said she likes to start fires.
It's true, but this is 3-year-old, and this goes against. Sure. You know, like, I'm going to be the one that has to steal this, right? Like,
Well, yeah, obviously. And I can be causing a distraction by killing.
we want to. And Yewsiff,
The
I mean,
Bane.
this is. Yes, okay, great. There it is.
Saying.
I was going to say, like, this is the big thing that you've been seeking out for, and you'd rather just dive in headlong, swinging your
No.
Avenger about. And
I'm just... Look, let's not talk about who's swinging what. It's a different conversation. Anyway. No, I'm just saying, if push came to shove and we needed a quick Operation B go, or B14, depending on how far we are down the list. I'm just saying that if Fee can get us in there undetected, then obviously, yes, that's the best way to go. But if shit hits the fan right away, we should have a plan. And since you have the plans, we can make one.
It just seems a lot to dive right into.
I agree. I don't want to do it. I'm just saying tactically, in the worst case scenario of all of us getting caught, or
because let's say we get out of the castle and we can't get back in. This is what you're saying.
I know you. I'm sure we can
get back in.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'd rather get my bearings.
As would I. Again, worst possible case.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about how planning a heist going back in there when I left, because heist is a thing that I can wrap my brain around right now.
Well, I'm just saying, you already did the planning, and now...
3 years ago.
Right, but it's 3 years later. No one would be suspecting it. Just an option.
It feels odd, but...
It's true, but tactically, we would definitely have an element of surprise.
Sure, but once that's once that's fizzled, we're
How much does Fee love chaos?
profoundly.
I mean, this would create a whole heck of a ton of chaos.
All right, where do we bug out to? Where do we go with the kid? Like, there's so much. A little bit of preparation would get us.
If we can get out of the Neil, I know that city like the back of my hand.
Okay. I'm not saying I'm opposed, but we gotta get in there with Fee first.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Get the lay of the land.
This is not the plan. I'm just saying it is a possible plan because we literally have the plans. Just saying. Also, from a tactics standpoint, it's fucking gold. Maybe I'm wrong. And he pours himself
I don't disagree with you. I just think it leaves a lot of green. We got to hit a lot of green lights in a row for this all to. This can go south so quick.
I mean, it already went south very quick before anything even happened.
That tells me you were set up.
Clearly.
Right, and until we know by whom, there's nothing to say that we won't be set up again.
It's true. Who else knew you were doing this?
I mean, other than, I'm sure, some of the guards that I've pieced together information from might have, and then...
So, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Nax?
Nax. Nax didn't know you were doing it as a surprise for him.
He did not know, which added to the fury. I mean, I did tell Yewsiff, but she not enough.
Who, the redhead?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Mm-hmm. Not enough.
And you say the word guild a lot when I think you mean gang. So is Yewsiff joining another guild? As in like a Masons or an Artisans Guild? Or was she joining another band of...
No. Skypoint has certain guilds. She was part of the Beauteous Few.
Which is a gang.
I guess you can take it that way, sure.
In the sense, I'm using guild and faction kind of interchangeably.
Yeah.
Here.
Sure.
So...
So the
this
city
isn't like
itself
they're not
was...
selling pots, is what I'm saying.
Right.
No.
Yes.
They're not a crafting guild, but it is essentially that the city was split up into different parts.
Thieves
Right.
Guild, Assassins Guild. There's many types of guilds.
Yes.
Sure.
And
just seeking clarification.
yeah,
The Bakers doesn't really want to have a... They have a
Oh my God.
weirdly, they have a beef with
Mean.
her.
Woof.
I mean, I'm sure they have a beef with lots of people in the Beauteous Few.
But surprisingly, the beef industry does not. I don't care.
No, yeah, it's just the Bakers.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyways.
All right, so dive headlong into the castle.
I mean, they're the Beauteous Few essentially ran all of the brothel bracket. Essentially, but assassins and very hedonistic.
Hold on. There's a certain whore I've got to kill. Or bring to heel. I don't remember.
I mean, they had one very specific brothel, which is kind of where they ran it out of.
Right.
I used to always say, like, if you stayed for a night with them, they'd sell you a dream, because that's all it was. A dream.
Sometimes, if that's what you're paying for, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
But they really love creating chaos, and they will be, they live for the moment, really.
Interesting.
I like chaos, but not to that point. And I was a very different look than most of them were.
Sure.
So, and then there's other ones that are various levels of big and small, but obviously the main one that was in there was run by the king, really. The Dominion Alliance and treasure pot of wealth of information had very compromising things on each guild that could bring them to heel, essentially.
Sure.
So, including Nax's. So I feel like even if I got that information on the Mengen Alar and brought that back, might be a olive branch.
All right, well, let's, it's not off the table, but it certainly makes me nervous. Yes, well, to Skypoint in the morning then.
I suppose, fuck, I'm like, if I have to, I'm gonna have to blend in, and
What do you think? Cut your hair, dye it?
I don't know.
Don't we have a hat or something?
I got
I don't do well with hats.
just carnival.
I don't know.
We have to cut holes in it.
I
Most of the
tried,
hat
yeah,
is-
and
I
I
meant
tried Nax's hat, and it just gave me terrible hat hair. I don't do well with hats.
And it's gonna like the horns are big enough that's gonna kind of hang off the back there. It's,
Yeah,
you're gonna need bobby pins. It's a whole thing.
I,
What about
I
a
really
ring?
did try it and try to do like a sexy thing, and it just didn't work out.
What about a ring? Someone have a ring of disguise, or
No, I am ability. I have certain arcane abilities inherent to my blood for being a proud child of the city of Dis, where I can disguise myself. But
Some certain Iron Boy abilities.
sweet Iron Boy
Yeah.
abilities that I can change myself for an hour. But that's me.
I mean,
it's not anyone else.
and the biggest thing is I don't really think anybody in the Neo will recognize me because obviously never got up there. But I do have a certain air of the sink that I feel like I've never been able to throw off.
If you want to borrow clothes from Fish, we can do a whole makeover when you get there. I'm sure it would thrill and it would delight her beyond comprehension.
That might need to happen. Once we get out of the sink, then it just, or the Neo into the sink, it really just depends on what has stayed, what memory has stayed, because, oh man, I was in the gambling racket, and
Do you owe people any money?
oh no, if anything, they owe me.
Oh, you.
The other side of that for once.
Yeah, if I pull, and I hold up my deck of tarot cards, if I pull these out to play a game,
Yeah.
somebody will recognize me just from this.
Okay.
so don't pull those out then.
I mean, considering
Or do.
there's several devil cards that are out in the sink that look like me, too.
I don't know if this is all bad, gang.
I don't
Like,
think it is. I think if people owe you money, that means they owe you something. And that something could be a favor instead of money. People will do all sorts of things to pay off debts.
Sure, some folks have long memories, but some folks have particularly short ones, and
Would you ever forget her?
never.
I rest my case.
That's okay.
I'm just saying, if you show
Anecdotal
up to
at
somebody saying, pay up, they're not going to be like, who were you? That is not something that I think would ever happen.
I mean, yes, but I also worked very hard to curate this whole, somehow no one holds on to retaining
Your
information
name
or
Yeah,
remembrance of me.
sure.
So that's still a very refined and curated skill.
But like, okay, so let's. I know it's only been several months of this glorious new year, but let's play this out, right? Let's say word of all of our exploits have gone hither and yon. You were seen at the site of the most mysterious crowning moment of the new year. You were seen gallivanting through Trost and fighting in the streets. You were seen in Edgewater. You know, like you've planted seeds of your return and your presence that aren't necessarily bad. You know, it's far from the last survivor of Adair and some random street rat from the sink. Like,
Where's
You're
Barney when we need her?
you've traveled and you've fought and you've won. And here we are, the current owners of the Fallhold. And we can leverage that to any desire that we currently feel or don't. But you are fundamentally a different, better, stronger, more focused person than you ever were for them.
Badass, really, is the word we're looking for.
And they're not ready for it.
Also, the last drow you crossed paths with, you killed.
I mean, they were Underdark Drow, which I'm kind of biased against, obviously, because...
Anyone that gets out of there has a bad taste in their mouth, generally.
Yeah, there was... Let's just say Nax ran the guild on... I was the only female.
Sure.
So there's
non-drow.
Only female and non-drow. Yes, correct, because there's already a fuck the matriarchy
right.
idea there. So, and honestly, I love the pep talk. I do. The best outcome is if I entered in there and I was just a whisper.
Perfect.
Then that's what we'll do. I will keep a distance so that I am not clanging around the whisper.
Well, I mean, if
Speaking
the long
of clanging
memory...
around the whisper, stop fucking my aunts.
Can't promise that.
He's just going down the list.
It's, you know what? I knew that you couldn't, but I just had to say it out loud one time.
That's fair. Although, I will say, it's probably going to be half my job while we're there to keep Fee distracted.
I understand that. I understand.
Apparently,
the
she
role
wants
you
a
have to
holy
play.
boy to do her bidding.
Yes, but you seem all too willing to play it, and it just kind of...
Well, no, that's the thing. I'm going to play very hard to get.
Listen, I apologize for the outburst. I'm processing my feelings in real time. I love you. You're a good friend and a stalwart companion. This is just a
Boon
lot.
companion.
We're doing a lot of fucking. Can I fuck Nax? Is that a thing?
I pull out the lovers card, and it's like the three of us in a very compromising position. I'm like,
so
oh, yes.
already thinking about
Perfect.
that. Well, there you go.
Hey, there's something about the possibility of him trying to kill me that just makes it hotter.
Sure. What if I... if I try to... Hey, Yewsiff, fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. So what if I try to kill him while he's trying to kill you? Yeah. See, you're...
And then you can strangle him a little bit.
Well, I'm strangling parts of him, and he's choking me, but only a little.
Right, so I'll go ahead and walk away from this conversation.
No.
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
What's your aunt's favorite flower?
Oh, God.
Fuck you.
No, I'm serious. Not Fee.
Yes, obviously not Fee.
Right.
I don't know what it...
Are you wanting to get... Oh, no, Yewsiff, you cannot become his uncle.
No.
No.
That is
No.
Uncle Yewsiff.
far from my...
Actually, no.
Well, I mean, now it's in my thoughts because you said it. It's like trying to not think of a brick wall. But, no.
There is a regal variety of rose that grows in Dis.
Can you sketch it
Sure.
right now?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I will, and it's like an ash rose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Is that...
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. There's something about it's pale, but it's when the light hits it or when certain vibrant colors poke out through it there. Quite astounding. And
It almost looks iron, like metallic rose. Like,
yeah,
like
it almost has like a sheen. Like you think the petals might be sharp.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I need some obsidian. Okay. Wonderful. Thanks.
We leave in the morning.
I'll leave you to do it.
Sorry, everybody's fucking my family. I just gotta point that out.
No, you're right. Absolutely. Taz, would you please fuck his family? And by that, I mean
Stop.
him. I'm going to leave.
All of you, stop it.
And Yewsiff chuckles as he walks out the door. With the sketch. And now he's going to go make a glass flower out of
butts.
with a very strong and sturdy stem.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little textured.
And a flanged
Well, yeah,
edge.
that's what
so
it's
it's like
the
a little
rose is
rose.
for.
It's a whole rosebud thing. I did not mean to do that. I apologize to the internet.
Rosebud. It's his
The
sled.
code word is rosebud.
It's his
Absolutely.
sled from when he was a kid.
Do not
There, I just saved you 2 boobless hours.
Google search
Rosebud.
rosebud.
Yeah, so then, you head off to do your thing with the glass blowing. Mm-hmm. Leaving you two alone, and any remaining things you have to do in the evening will be fun.
Well, there you go. There's my
Sure.
the short of it. Obviously, other things, it'll get deeper as we
kidding me?
get into it, but there you go.
Short, it's
That's-
disadvantage, right? For 2 hours?
2 hours of what?
Yeah, one attempt. One
Craft.
attempt.
Oh, it's one
Crafting.
attempt, but I thought I had disadvantage on
What
it.
are we doing now, Yewsiff?
One attempt
He's
with
still
disadvantage.
making that glass flower.
Gotcha. Well, I rolled double 17s, so
Yeah, you gain 2 crafting points, which I guess for a rose like that, you more than enough.
cool. So done. Let
Nice.
that cool.
Right. So, not that it matters.
Make sure it's sturdy, not a lot of breakable bits. Just
Not overly concerned about labels, obviously. Did you have a chance to, say, break things off with Nax before you left the city in the cover of darkness?
I'm so glad I'm not here for this conversation.
Considering the blowout that we had that kind of made it very clear that he was choosing the guild over me, and
Right.
my life was then in danger from not just the entire city but also possibly him, there wasn't really a chance.
So, let's just say, best case scenario, he's completely forgiven you, and is totally fine with seeing you again. He might labor the impression that you're still a thing?
I mean, maybe?
Good. Okay. Good to just trying to set my expectations accordingly.
But I don't think that's necessarily a place that he would go.
Okay.
He's old enough that I think, and wise enough that he would kind of understand.
like old, like old, like how old?
Well, did we ever talk about that, John? His age? I don't think we did.
No, we never did. But essentially, the gist is old enough to where, like, we make fun of older celebrities with younger celebrities.
Yeah.
That amount of difference in terms of drow. Yeah.
He's a drow out on his own.
I mean, he is a grown drow.
Sure.
And
You know I'm like 19 years old, right?
huh?
You know I'm like 19 years old.
So I'm robbing the cradle when he was robbing the cradle.
Cool. I really appreciate it. Today's been all about dynamics and
Yeah. Yeah,
Fun.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
all right, great, good.
Iron Boy.
Yeah.
Fetter's
yeah.
Big Adventure. Great.
I mean, you're with an older woman. I mean, I'm 20,
Look, I'm-
26. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm fine. I'm very fine with that. Just putting that all out there. Great. This is fun. This is
people-
good.
There were a lot of daddy jokes
Wow.
when
man.
I was so
yeah,
I do think
This
that he's
is-
old enough to understand that, considering the way things left off, that stop distracting me in this moment, please. We are role playing.
Yeah, we are. I'm not even there.
I do think he's old enough that he probably would have gotten the gist from the way things left. I think there was also a little bit of, silly child reacting this way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking back on it.
It sounds like perhaps he underestimated you.
I think a lot of people underestimate me,
Well, I think that,
including myself.
yes. Regardless of how you think and feel these things are going to go, I think you're in a much better position than you think you are. And I'm happy to help prove that.
I
So,
appreciate that.
because we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of days, let's say we go to bed.
Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
And the night passes.
Where did those two end up staying?
I actually choose to go to sleep.
Well,
Where?
in the words of Ice Cube. No, I'm just kidding.
Where? Who? What?
We're staying in.
We're in the room.
Yeah, you're staying in the room.
We're staying
You
there.
mean the other two?
Yeah, these two.
You do find Tiamek there in your room,
Okay. Figured.
Chicken wet.
leafing through the book.
Round 2.
I present her with the flower. I made this for you.
My gift.
Exactly. Care for a nightcap?
Indeed.
I think the only thing we have... Well, no. I think there is a few bottles of wine left. There's also some dwarven brandy. It's got a little bit of a kick to it.
Bring on the brandy.
Be right back.
Let's get absolutely no rest.
Wow, that Yewsiff is quite something, isn't he? I once tried to use a copy of that book to get some serious bouncy bounce, and my partner ate it. And then ate me. That's what I get for attempting foreplay on a gelatinous cube. I kid. Well, kinda. Look at the time. I gotta go. I'll return before too long to tell you all about the party and their upcoming journey to Skypoint. All in these Demon Days.
Just side little, this will be an outtake, I'm sure. When I was in high school, there was a rap group.
Yes, I love this. Go on.
The best way to start this.
As in, like, that your
In the high school?
At your high school?
Yes, like it was a bunch of other kids that formed this rap group, and the one song that they put out was Bowl of Cereal.
Oh,
and
God.
it went bowl of cereal, bowl of cereal, bowl of cereal, bowl of cereal, and that's all I remember about it. But I do remember that they performed it at like one school event or whatever.
Oh my God.
And they were like, "Thank you. Our next single is gonna be Cup and Ramen Noodles," and then nothing ever came. So anytime I think of Cup of Noodles, I always go back to that rap group with Bowl of Cereal.